kosher, it's Glatt. You're listening to Glatt. Glatt, it's all Glatt.
Welcome back to another week of Glatt, the Kosherdotcom and Fleischix podcast, where we bring on guests and talk about all things kosher, the latest trends,
and
travel.
It's like literally the behind the scenes of Fleischix magazine. So whatever we're working on in that month, we bring to the Glatt Kosherdotcom Fleischix table. And now that we're planning Pesach, which is actually quite overwhelming to think about.
It's crazy.
But Pesach season is upon us. Before we know it, we're going to be, turning over our houses.
I will give credit to our followers and readers because someone actually messaged yesterday. She's like, I know you work in advance.
Okay.
I do flowers. Keep me in mind when you're doing Shavuos.
Love it.
And I was like, give me another month or so, but yes. Yeah. It's funny, right?
Totally. So Pesach is on our minds. We are starting to plan the Pesach issue. And so today's guest came to our studio to share his experience running a Pesach program for a lot of years. How many years has he been doing it?
Did he say 12? I think it's about 12. But it's fascinating.
It's Bruce Backman. He runs Pesach in the Southeast, and he was just an incredible guest. He was very open and honest, transparent. So it was a great conversation. Also very interesting.
More than just transparent and open and honest. I mean, it's like a regular person who goes in the program can see what goes on. They don't know what goes on like behind the doors in the kitchen or in the ordering. People that haven't been on programs are even less, like typically in our families, we never went on programs because we make everything.
It was such a foreign concept. That's right.
It's just really interesting. The financial side, the planning.
I think this episode will be interesting for anyone. Like, let's say you were talking about people who haven't been on a program or never planned to go on a program. It's a very interesting inside look into this industry. And we also spoke about so many other things. The topic of restaurants came up.
Of course, because
we spoke about some food news. So it's a good one. I think everyone's going to enjoy it.
Yeah, so we're very happy to have Bruce join us.
That's right.
And let's get right into it. This episode is brought to you by Toscanini Olives. Toscanini has a line of gourmet olives. They have black olives, green olives.
Try to pronounce this olive.
Castelvetrano.
By the way, that's a fun Hanukkah game. Get all the Toscanini olives
and pronounce the names.
Ask people to pronounce it. Let me see.
But what would you use this for?
No, this is just a gorgeous. First of all, the color is so bright and vibrant, so it just looks pretty on any board. So if you're making a meat board, a pastrami board, a fish board, any cheese board, perfect for Hanukkah. It's gorgeous. You could also put it on a skewer on top of, let's say, like you do like sliders. So you could put that in. It's great for cocktails.
For Hanukkah, batter and fry them.
Ooh, that's good. Fried olives is a good one. I think Kosherdotcom has a recipe for fried olives. I'm sure that they do.
Amazing.
So I would search for that recipe on Kosherdotcom and use these. Ooh, you could, because these olives are pitted, you could actually stuff it with a piece of feta cheese and then fry it and batter it.
I like that.
Yeah. Or now that we're, brainstorming, you could put the feta cheese, the olive, and maybe like, some type of lettuce sphere, a drizzle of Toscanini balsamic glaze.
Without actually even
it's like a Greek salad bite. You can make a Greek salad bite. Or you could put it on top of a latke. Okay? We got it.
For more ideas and recipes like you saw just
pop out,
check out Kosherdotcom or Fleischix magazine, because that's where the magic happens. This episode is brought to you by Drapier, a crisp champagne from France.
It seems that way.
It is from France.
Yes.
This is
It's perfect for Hanukkah season, because now it's party season. Even though this episode is about Pesach programs,
where people are drinking wine and champagne.
Yeah, this is a really good, solid party wine. Number one, the bottle is gorgeous. It matches just the vibes of like a menorah and candles, so it's really great. I think you're supposed to like chill it a bit, so it's like it has that crisp, cool effect. And then you can do so many
top three things you'd use it for. Straight up. I think mimosa is one of those big.
Yeah, you can add some orange juice and then put an orange wedge. In winter, is actually orange season. So you could find some interesting
Nice
oranges.
citrus, right.
You could do a blood orange. You can do a cara orange. It's
Tuscany
endless.
actually has those new juices.
Oh, so you could
Amazing.
do the juices.
Very cool. One more. How about a sangria? Or you don't use? What do you use?
Sangria is usually wine, but you can do. Remember that
Desserts.
that dessert that was
Like
made
sorbet.
No, you know that warm sort of custard that you make with wine.
Zabayon.
Yeah. So Meats New York has it on their menu. It's very, very good. So you can use champagne in that recipe. So if you have a little bit of extra champagne.
Does the fizz do anything to it?
No, it's just it's a beautiful flavor of wine is whisked together with sugar and egg yolk over like a double boiler, and like a bowl of you take a bowl over a simmering pot of hot water, and you just whisk it together, and it creates this beautiful, luscious custard, velvety, luscious custard that you serve over fresh fruit. It's phenomenal. If you don't want to make it as a side note, I think does Meat New York still have it?
I think so.
So yeah, that's that.
L'chaim. Welcome back to another episode of Glatt, the Fleischiks and Kosherdotcom podcast, where we talk about awesome kosher food news and things relevant to the kosher food world and traveler.
We've been singing the song all week. Liba was humming it. It's
Glatt.
very, very catchy. Bruce, have you heard it? You have to hear it. It's very, very cool. We love it.
It's our jingle. It's like what we introduce and end the.
Who made it? You
podcast
did?
with. Our marketing guys did actually. Mad Sales, great job. We had a choice like between 2 or 3 different ones. This was like a little bit more.
Yeah, it like got us
retro.
like
Is that the word?
Yeah, it has
It
like
feels
a
like the
retro
Bible.
vibe.
You're going to have to
Yeah.
wait till after, but I'm
Bible
interested to
bells,
hear it.
bells.
Yeah, it's great. It's very catchy. Like our kids sing it all day.
Baruch Hashem.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
Before we
having me.
get started and talk about Pesach, which is your area of expertise, we thought it would be fun to just talk about some food news.
So what's new?
So, did you hear about Manashevitz's new contract they made with a
The
football
football player, the Jewish
Yeah.
kid in Utah,
Yeah.
BYU.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I didn't hear. Tell me.
Well, Bruce knows all about it. They didn't say how much, but they paid him a lot of money
Why?
to be their brand representative. I think Manischewitz is looking to like make their brand a more national brand, like make Jewish food.
Manischewitz is a national
Manischewitz did
brand.
a great job. I mean, by taking the back page of the
they're-
Hanukkah
right.
issue. I mean,
Manischewitz makes good products, and the branding's gotten really good. There's a
Yeah.
retro feel to it.
Yeah. But I thought it was interesting that they signed a contract with a football player for the year.
it is interesting
Cool.
to see a
They're going to
kosher
put him
food.
on their boxes, they said, but they didn't disclose how much money they paid
No, the
him.
reason I was surprised because I don't think anybody knows who he is. He's still young.
Right.
He's new.
So that
Like-
may be smart though.
Possibly. I mean,
Do you know what his nickname is? So he's in this university, BYU.
Yeah.
It's very Mormon. And
It's not very. It is
oh,
Mormon.
Oh, it is Mormon.
It's not very.
My
It's as
mistake.
Mormon as they come.
Okay. So he's one of 3 Jewish students in the university.
That
and
makes sense.
They call him BY Jew.
BY Jew.
Yeah. Like that's his nickname.
It's interesting. He's
He's
first.
a very proud Jew. So I think that's why they tapped him.
I think he's the first non-Mormon quarterback the school's ever had.
That is so interesting.
Oh,
I
so
don't-
that makes the
I don't
choice
know. Steve Young, the famous San Francisco 49ers quarterback, was a star at BYU. And they've had many others over the years, but BYU is known to be a place that, Mormons kind of like what Jews are at Yeshiva University.
Oh, it's like YU for the Mormons.
Correct. To a certain degree.
But that is interesting because Manischewitz was always, it wasn't necessarily, I mean, obviously it's a kosher brand, but they were always like trying to brand themselves as Jewish food.
Right.
And like there's a lot of Jewish food is very popular in many cultures now, all over the country. I guess it makes sense, Mormons.
Yeah, it's part of their rebrand because they did rebrand
Yeah.
recently. So that was interesting. Yeah, what else is going on? Oh, we're working on the restaurant issue. So every year we come out with a restaurant issue, and we took track of what happened this past year, and 2 big restaurants shut down. Pat's in LA. Have you ever been?
Pat's is not really closing, though. They have a lease issue.
By the way, before we do food
No,
news
Pat's
next time,
closed.
wait. I need
He's
to call
closing.
Bruce.
He's closing. Pat's is
for research purposes. Okay,
Pat's
let's
is
hear.
closing, but they want to move.
So they're
So they
closing
lost their
to
lease,
move.
but they'll probably
Is that
research.
what happened?
They'll
The
probably
Milchik one is
resurf-
still open.
The dairy's staying open, and
Yeah.
the Fleischick, no, it happens. The dairy, I read about this. The dairy is open, and the meat something with their lease, with their space. But I don't think they're going to be disappearing for long, or maybe so. But that's not what they're telling people. They're not saying they're shutting permanently.
Okay, so their shutdown is temporary.
Yeah, and
so we could still eat we've never eaten their bread pudding. They're very famous for their bread pudding.
It's a very good restaurant.
Yeah, you've enjoyed.
Well,
My cousin used to work there.
Well, Bruce was just touching on it.
My cousin used to be a waitress there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very cool. How much did she make? Like,
well, she was in college.
I'm joking.
She was a college.
I'm always
student
curious
there.
about like what
She had good
what
nights.
waitresses.
She had good nights. Sure, busy night, good tips. Yeah, 100%.
What would a good tip night be? Do you know?
In those days, you're talking. She was there over 20 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know, $400 in those days.
Oh, that's impressive.
That was a long time.
Very
but yeah,
cool.
if you have a good night, you have a good night.
That's very cool.
My cousin had very good nights.
But now everybody has a good night in a way because like tips are mandatory. Do you think they're getting the tips or the restaurateurs are just paying them more?
We need to have that conversation.
It's interesting.
We need to have that conversation with certain restaurateurs.
I should write this down.
You know who's
it's
an expert in that?
topic. Yeah,
I know who you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say.
Mike?
No.
Oh, okay.
Miami Kirschenbaum.
Oh, well, he's the one that had the whole court case.
No, but he's an expert.
Tips.
He would, because a lot
That's
of
an
restaurants.
interesting topic to like get into.
It's a very,
know?
I mean, on both sides.
Yeah.
Because you have the consumer side, you have the restaurateur side. It's
Well, you also have a question of in a restaurant, there's busboys.
Right.
And then there's other people working in the restaurant. Do they share in the tips or they don't?
Right. There's
So
a lot
it
of
gets a little
behind the
more complex.
scenes.
It depends how the restaurant functions.
Yeah, I think nowadays restaurants are more. They're probably gearing away from like just the waitresses and waiters relying just on tips. Like the system is changing probably because
the
of
system
like,
has kind of changed that right now. Most places tips are built in. Like there's no.
it's like you
it's
have
a
to pay minimum
mandatory tip.
wage. Like I remember we were talking to Moshe Wendell. I don't want to misquote him, but he was saying that a restaurant like Pardes can't exist today because of labor laws.
How so?
It's just too expensive. You would have to charge
I mean,
so much
Pesach hotels
money.
in America are having the problem.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Labor in America is becoming very, very, very expensive.
Is that why
There's no Pesach programs in America anymore, really?
Yeah. How many are there?
Half of what there was when I got into this 15 years
So
ago.
how long ago
that
did
was
you
a
get
good
into
segue.
this? What?
That was
Yeah,
a good
that was a good
segue.
segue. But how
No,
long
but
ago?
you're
No, it
talking
is.
about labor.
I actually was thinking about it before when I was thinking about bringing up the restaurants, that it is very similar in terms of like, you are basically running, as someone who's running a Pesach program, you're running a full-time restaurant 24/7 during the whole week of Pesach.
You can't run a really low end Passover program in America. Doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing.
Right.
Because
Why?
the
Because,
cost of food,
the operators can't make money.
it has a lot to do with inflation, the cost of labor, the cost of food, the cost of hotels, the cost of transportation, anything having to do. You go to a third world country, you go to, I don't want to say third world, but you go to, let's say, a more developing country. You go to Panama, or you go to Mexico, or you go to Costa Rica, or you even go to some places in Europe, and you're dealing with totally different numbers.
But is that the price of food being less, or is it the labor?
It's everything.
Everything.
It's very expensive to do business in America today.
Interesting.
do
How
you mean?
long have you been in the
America
Pesach hotel business? You said 15 years?
My first program was in 2009 or 10.
So how many kosher hotel programs were there in America, in the United States? About
in the olden days?
Yeah, in the olden
They were
days.
all
20
in
years ago,
America.
the olden days.
No, I'm saying going
I
back
hear you.
15,
No, I'm
20
laughing
years.
because we
It's
think
20
we're
years ago.
14. But
We're not 14 anymore.
I know.
You're
but we
talking
do.
20 years ago.
Okay.
20 years ago. Let's talk the bigger operators
Yeah.
that established. Lasco had 4. Leisure Time had 4.
Wow.
Not sure what Costa Rica had. And then there was, once upon a time in Miami Beach, there was a program at the Eden Rock. Then there was a program next door at the Fontainebleau. Then there was a program next door at the Doral. You had another program at the Doral, the one that the Trump Doral now, where Simon is, where Ram is.
Right.
You have another program. You had a program at the Westin in Fort Lauderdale.
There used to be Florida was the place to do programs.
What do you mean? In Miami in the olden days, you had all the whole strip there was full of programs up and down the coast. And then you went in, then there was programs in Naples, there was programs in Tampa, there's multiple programs in Orlando.
So Florida was like this hub.
And
of
then in
Pesach
California,
programs.
you had a lot of programs, and you had
Right.
a bunch of
KMR
programs in
used to
Arizona.
do.
It's
Right.
today.
How
So
did you
today,
become-
how many programs are there today in America? You have a few in the
I
tri-state.
counted recently
Yeah.
for somebody. It's
There's
not
like
a lot.
5?
It's
It's
more.
much more than that.
There's the tri-state programs around New York.
Right.
That's one group. Those are for commuters. There's
Mexico and the islands.
Then there's Mexico.
Mexico's
is
not
King
in
Oh,
the
you
County.
went to
States.
America. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
the States.
Because and Mexico, the hotels, the labor is the cost of labor is less. The cost of food outside of meat, if you're using American meat, is less. The cost of the hotels comparison to the quality of the hotel is less. It's almost like I'm selling people to go to a program in Mexico. But I'm saying, but then there's a catch. Not everybody wants to go to Mexico for Pesach.
Right.
There are people who just don't want to go to Mexico for Pesach. They don't want to go to Europe for Pesach. They want to stay in America. They have a...
there is that comfort level.
It's not just a comfort level. Someone's expecting, somebody's older, somebody doesn't want to leave the country, somebody has a problem getting travel insurance because of health issues. Somebody doesn't want to be far away from a proper American hospital, God forbid necessary.
Got it.
There's a lot of reasons why you don't leave America. Why don't more Americans move outside of Miami and go live in, Mexico to retire? I mean, why not?
Just more
The
comfortable.
healthcare is no good. No offense to people living there, but I mean, it's not on par with what people are used to here standard-wise.
Right.
People aren't ready to subjugate
So where
themselves
are
to
the
that.
clusters of programs? You said the tri-states,
You have tri-state.
Arizona,
I
Just
think
like
there's one
West
or two.
So there's very few left, and
And
part
then
of
in
it
Florida
is.
today,
so what
you
made
have
you
5.
stay? Why are you still in America?
I'm
This
not.
is
I don't
your-
do business outside of the United States.
Got it.
I will.
Okay.
I will go to an unusual destination, or I'll go somewhere in America, which I would rather be in America than anywhere else.
Got it.
So you started-
I'm
This
not
is your
interested.
comfort zone. You know your
It's
business.
not a comfort zone. I know. First of all, I think the demand for an American program is there.
Right.
We're now sitting December 15th.
Right.
I've genuinely sold about 60% of my rooms with
Got it.
deposits.
Okay.
I've advertised 1 week, really.
If
in
you were to move your
papers.
program to Mexico out of the
I wouldn't.
States, but if you were, you'd lose your clientele?
No, I don't know if I'd lose it. I'm sure there's a clientele who wants to go to Mexico. These people exist. I mean, the programs are full. I mean, Zvi Berg runs, the Royal Passover. He's running a great program, and it's beautiful.
So a lot of the
and
programs-
people love it, and
Yeah.
they go, and it's popular. But I want to be in America, and my clients know that I'm an American program, and my clientele is the kind of clientele that's looking to stay in the United States for comfort level.
Right.
So you started in Virginia as Pesach in the...
No, I started in Vermont.
You started in Vermont.
My first program was in Vermont.
Okay. You were still southeast, you were northeast
North
then?
New England then. I move around. We keep on changing.
So,
It's
but you
always-
started off as northeast,
I
you went
started
down
in
to
New England.
southeast.
I did. No, we were in Vermont, Cape Cod. Once I was in the Poconos, which was, that was there for a year. I was in Vermont. I was in Cape Cod. I was in Maryland, outside of Baltimore, in a very nice property, a Hyatt, which is a great property on the water, in Cambridge. Then I was in Virginia 3 years in a row. Then COVID happened. And then because of the COVID rules, I moved south. I couldn't deal with the rules that were being enforced on operators in the Northeast, the COVID mandates, the testing mandates, the risk that the government can arbitrarily shut down your program while you're in production. I needed to be in a red state.
Right.
So since then, I've been going to red states.
And have
I
you-
will
And
only
even
go to
now
red
that
states.
COVID is over,
I'm getting comfortable. I've been
Got it.
outside of Atlanta for the last couple of years.
is it
I'm here this
easier
year.
to operate in general in a red state? At this point,
No.
doesn't make a difference.
No, at this point, no.
Okay.
But then it made a huge difference.
Yeah. Oh.
But you've been looking at places for the future. Have you got a place? Are you comfortable
I'm
saying
here
where you go for
this year, and
2025,
then
or-
the next year I'm moving to Texas for about 3, 4, maybe 5 years.
Oh wow.
I already signed.
Do you change the name?
How
to
does it work
become-
with
I
signing
don't
a
know yet.
contract?
See, my people will know this is where we're going. The
How
guests
does it
who
work
come-
with signing a contract with a hotel? Like what's
Well, I work
you
with
said
a
you
broker.
signed like it's
I work with a broker.
Oh, okay.
I can do everything myself. My broker knows I can do everything
Right.
myself, but I don't want to.
Got
I
it.
I want to have a middle person. To me, it's like a lawyer.
So the broker finds the hotels
No.
and makes the deal?
I tell her where I want to go. I tell her the name of the hotel, and I tell her to deal with it. She's like she works with me.
Got it.
It's just
What are you looking
I
for
need
when
somebody-
you choose a hotel?
I'm very. I don't want to say I don't like saying I so much, but I'm saying I'm very focused on not having hotel issues.
Okay.
I say Baruch Hashem.
Let's discuss it. What are hotel issues? Like what could be a problem?
Half the hotels end up in a lot of hotels are very difficult to work with.
Because
A lot
they're
of
small or
operators have
big,
trouble in
because of-
hotels.
What
What
like,
would they
give us
do,
a few
like-
issues like for
What issues would come up? You book a hotel, guests are coming. What are the hotel operators doing that would be challenging for
A
someone
hotel
running a
doesn't
hotel?
have enough staff. They promise
it.
something, they can't deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it happen
Space is
to
an
me
issue,
years
like
ago.
if you don't have the right
Everything I've learned in my experience doing this stuff is based on my years of doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had contracts where the hotel's supposed to give me X, Y, and Z. I show up on day one and there's not there. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And they said, we don't have these people. I'm like, but you contracted
So you're relying
them with
on
me.
them for like waiters.
Well, I don't rely on them
waitresses.
for anything anymore.
Oh, you've learned.
Oh, no, I don't do that.
That would
You
be an
bring your own
example.
staff.
Okay, got it.
No, we don't do that.
So
I bring down 98% of the people who have to work on this program,
Wow.
But
which
not
also makes
the
it
cleaning
expensive.
and stuff like that, like the
The
actual regular
hotel,
hotel.
I tell hotels,
Wow.
do the 3 things you do well,
Mm-hmm.
and I will literally do everything else.
Wow. So you're
That means
housing and
the-
feeding
I'm
all your
housing-
staff.
I take out another hotel for my entire team.
Wow.
By the which this is not the
Is
most
this common practice?
No. This is the only way I will do business. I need to have all my people there. I need to have people who answer to me on staff at all, which means that
That's
when
an
you show
interesting
up
point.
in my program,
Mhm.
in this program, we have seamless first seders. Seamless.
Interesting. Do you also have like
You
your
mean
guests
to
know the
say-
staff?
What? No, there's an old saying. When I was doing when I started in the business years ago, there was like a certain, when I would take hotel staff, it was like, oh, okay, it's the
They don't
first
know-
Seder. We're not expecting everything to go smooth. The food won't come out
Mhm.
on time. The room won't be set up on time. Now, I'm not saying other programs are not more successful.
Got it.
Maybe they're better. Now, again, if you're in a hotel for multiple years and you and their teams work really well together,
Mhm.
it could very well be that you can have a seamless first everything the first night.
Right.
I don't trust that in my case.
I can imagine when you come into a non
It's all my people.
and like they've never done Pesach, or even if like they have staff that aren't
Mm-hmm.
Jewish, they just don't understand
It's
what's
much
flying. You're doing
cheaper to
cutting,
use
Right.
cuts,
hotel
you're doing-
labor.
They're like learning on the spot. It's
No,
not a
we-
typical like this staff is used to probably serving a banquet or a
We
business
only take
conference.
They have to
waiters-
deal with kosher, they have to deal with Pesach, they have to
The
deal with
courses.
like, the
We
stuff
coach-
we're doing.
it's also the volume of product that's moving. This is not we
It's a big
serve
crowd.
a lot of food.
Right.
Right.
So
That's
my
also true.
food is tremendous. The guests are coming out. There's a lot of food. People are seeing that we're serving a lot of food. And the waiters are, carrying, it's an obscene quantity of food that we serve. And you need people who, I call them kosher waiters.
Mhm.
That means waiters who work for kosher caterers throughout the year, work in
So
kosher
they do have
agencies,
some experience.
Yeah.
work
That's
in the kosher
Kosher
wedding
waiters,
halls.
love it.
I take caterers who work in Borough Park and Lakewood
Mhm.
and Muncie and Teaneck and Queens.
Do you have a returning staff every year or?
Yeah.
My
that's what I'm
staff
saying.
returning is a very high ratio.
Uh-huh.
So like do the guests
Kitchen staff is almost 98%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how have you managed to do that?
We try our best to treat the staff well.
That's very cool.
Do guests
and we
request
pay
certain
well,
staff?
and we pay well. We pay fairly.
Mhm.
We pay fairly, and we pay.
Right.
Nobody leaves my hotel without money.
Got it.
Everybody gets paid on
Listen,
site.
if you have such a high retention rate of people coming
Even my
back,
waiter retention
that's
is
impressive.
probably in the range of. And that's not always they don't come. They don't always not come because they don't want to. They have another job.
Right,
They got another this.
100%.
They can't take. A lot of them have other jobs where they can't take off.
Right.
So, but I would say my retention rate of waiters, the last few years has been about anywhere between 50 and 70%, which is pretty good. And then the 30 that I'm taking who are new, I usually match them up with somebody who's been there because they work as partners. We'll usually match them up with somebody who worked with last year in the program.
Do you have guests requesting certain waiters
Of
like
course,
they know from
we have
previous
guests who've
years?
had the same waiters year over year,
So
That is so
interesting. By the way,
and we
it's
keep
interesting.
records of this stuff.
When we went to Bruce a couple of years back,
Mhm.
I remember seeing some of, like, I think our waiter or some of the other staff, I've seen them at other simchas here. It is true.
Oh, really?
Yes, I remember now.
We take them from all different places. Yeah.
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 But but the whole goal that I'm offering with my guests, I don't have the most exciting destination. We're not in
Exciting in that, like, no beaches.
No,
or-
but I'm being candid with you. I'm not on the south of France on the Riviera. I'm not on,
It's not an exotic location.
No, it's a beautiful, it's like
beautiful,
you're
but it's not a-
it's a beautiful destination, and it's a wonderful, enjoyable, resting, positive, inspirational Pesach.
Right.
My guests are very, very happy guests. They come, everything's taken care of, everything's organized, the speakers are good, the food is good. The hotels and I have worked really hard on refining the techniques of hotel service.
How many months does it take to plan all these details?
We start now.
You start now, December?
We delegate out a lot. I delegate out a lot.
Okay.
So I have people in charge of
So
things.
you start in December when did you start advertising or marketing the program?
We start marketing in the summer with
Okay,
emails.
so you're starting with marketing.
But
That's
the
very
hotel's
important.
also booked like right after the next Pesach.
Right.
If not before, if I
Got
had a
it.
multi-year contract.
So you start marketing a little bit. December, you're starting with details. Once Pesach is over, how long does it take to also pack up from the program? Maybe
We're
plan
out
for
of the
next year?
hotel. We're out of the hotel on. There's a gentleman who works for me, Jason Greenfest.
Okay.
And when it comes to this stuff, he's in charge. And Jason is packing out. Jason's could be out of the hotel within the longest would be 72 hours post Pesach.
Wow.
Done. Cleaned
So
up, organized.
But you're also bringing everything. You have the staff, the
no,
materials.
I store a lot of stuff in Atlanta.
Okay.
But
You
bringing-
leave it there.
We leave things in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, but you're
When
bringing
you-
it to the hotel.
Yeah, like when you
Remember,
come to the
even
hotel,
brought
are
a
you
playground.
bringing?
I own my own playground.
Are you bringing? You own your own playground?
Yeah.
I own playground. I own canoes. I own kayaks.
There's
I
water
own
by
30
your.
kayaks. I own
That's
an entire
awesome.
playground. I own everything.
That is
Basketball, all
so
different
cool.
kinds of very high quality basketball equipment,
Mm-hmm.
hockey equipment.
And what about kitchen equipment? Are you
I
koshering
own
the
everything.
hotel?
Yeah.
The
And then we
hotels,
build out
no,
a
but
kitchen.
I'm saying, are you using the hotel's pots and pans and knives
No.
and things like that? No, you have your own.
No. The only thing we kasher from the
Ovens.
hotel is their ovens and their
And
tilt
stainless steel
skillets.
counters, no?
So you're
But
out
I
72
rent most.
hours
I do a lot of my
before.
own. I own a lot of my own equipment.
That is so cool. You find that it's worthwhile in terms of
I own all my own china. I own all my
wow.
own silver. I own all my own glassware. I own all my own racks.
how long does it last?
Well,
like
it
a set
saves
of
me
like
3 days of koshering every year.
right. For
I don't
sure.
have to kasher. It's sealed, locked in. The rabbi marks it. It's sealed up,
That's
palletized,
amazing.
it's finished.
And how long before Pesach do you come? So it's 72
show up
hours.
10
you're
days.
10 days. So it
I need 10
takes
to
10
11
days,
days.
to prepare. What are
Well,
you doing day
a little
one?
bit more. The first thing we
Okay.
do is we bake. I'm the only program that not the only, there are others. We bake
Okay.
everything with exception of 3 items.
Mm-hmm.
I don't bake
Matzah.
sugar-free pastries. Matzah, obviously, I don't bake. Sugar-free, matzah, and nut-free. Those
So
are
you
my big
offer
3
sugar-free pastry, but you're not
I
making
don't
it from
make
scratch. Got it.
My baker is fantastic.
Got
And
it.
he's
I
very
have to
skilled.
interject to say it's interesting. If you can prepare Pesach for a program in 10 to 11 days,
Well,
I guess
and
it's
2 days
doable
2 days for kosher.
for most people too. Would you say that?
Of course.
Yeah.
But how many?
Yeah, but I also
you're not
have
even
like
cooking straight
100
away.
people working
I
there.
know if only we had the team
That's
of
true.
staff.
What do you mean? I don't get nervous on
actually a good
Pesach.
point.
I
That's
have
a
an
good point.
army.
It's an army of people.
The hotel tells me every year, because they had done Passover before and they had done other Jewish groups. They always say, they were like, we don't worry with you. You come with the army. Like there's a gentleman who works that said, the army's here. Like you literally see them getting out of bus.
That's funny. I'm actually curious.
I
What
have
do the
80
hotel
hotel
managers
rooms
and
for
staff
staff.
think about the Jews, the program, the people?
like me. They like my staff.
Wait, they like you. Are you insinuating they don't like the people so much, or
No, I'm saying they like me. They deal
joking.
with me.
I
They like the
understand.
guests
Okay,
also.
got it.
How does
No,
it
I'm
compare
saying-
to other events or programs that they host throughout the year? For
A
them,
non-Jewish event doesn't have nearly the volume. Well, the AV components could be more significant with a non-Jewish event. I don't
what's
have
that
the
sound?
the sound, the backdrops. I mean, we're not
Right.
doing.
It's also a very
conference like that.
family-heavy event. Like there's lots of kids and
Well,
people.
a lot of hotels won't take it. They don't want the kids.
Right.
They're not used to. In my program,
Mm-hmm.
we have 350 kids,
Wow.
not including teens. There's 350
Under
children.
12.
Yeah.
Wow. And so part of your program is also entertaining the kids. There's a whole.
We do a lot
It's a
for
whole
kids.
day camp and trips.
We
and things like
believe
that.
the kids need to be entertained from morning till night. So
Uh-huh.
on a Cholamoid day, we'll have a character at breakfast. Not on Yom Tiv, because I want the parents to take pictures, and I don't think it's in the spirit of Yom Tiv.
Mm-hmm.
Like to have think of a character, a SpongeBob, whatever
Got
comes. He's at breakfast meeting the kids. So that's for kids. I got the idea because they do that in Disney World. They have character breakfast. We stay in the hotels.
Oh, that's so fun.
So they bring a character to the breakfast for the kids in the morning. Get them all
It
excited
makes
to
it
go to
very
the park.
fun, like
So the kids like it.
Yeah.
It's for the little
Mhm.
kids. Like, I mean, some of my kids asked me, they didn't know Baby Shark was Jewish because he's roaming around the buffet in the morning. But Baby Shark is there. Then there's that. Then the kids eat. They go to camp. On Cholamoid, we keep them in camp This year, we're going to be keeping in camp through lunch. I'm going to serve them lunch in camp. And then they get out at about 4:30. In camp, we do activities. We don't just say, go play with toys. No, not an offense. It's not a shul babysitting program. There'll be entertainers coming in. There'll be activities coming in. We're spending. There's a significant budget for this. People are paying for it, I always say. Everybody's paying for it.
So a big part of the program is, besides the fact that you have the food taken care of and you're in a hotel, is that the kids are entertained.
If the kids are not entertained, that's the whole reason why a lot of people don't like going to the programs in Europe, where the kids programming is not, they don't have the budget for it. They're not charging. I mean,
what are other differences between an American program and a European program? Besides, now you mentioned the kids.
The kids,
I think the food is different, right?
And the food plentifulness.
I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I heard like on European programs, you're given like a portions, breakfast, a portioned lunch, a portioned dinner.
They're doing buffets at breakfast.
Doing buffets?
They're doing buffets. It's
buffet.
It's more the gaps.
Okay.
There's gaps.
A schwache
I'll tell you what the gap is. The gap is, my kid missed lunch. He's hungry. I mean, they can't give you everything and charge less. Right. So there's a gap. We're literally, if your kid wants chicken nuggets at 3:00, he can have it. And if your daughter, that's your son. And if your daughter wants pizza and French fries, he can have it.
Why? Pizza and French fries would be at the tea room, and the nuggets by the
I have a wood-burning pizza oven with a pizza guy who's there from 12 till almost dinner.
That is insane.
Then downstairs at the barbecue, I'm serving hot dogs, hamburgers, French fries, every kind of meat under the sun, and carving stations and roasts and ribs and more ribs, and every kind of meat possible is there. As a snack. It's a snack. And people go there.
Yeah, the barbecue
is a snack. Our barbecue is bigger than dinner. It's every year I make a list. I'm like, okay, we could throw that into. Do we need smoked brisket? Let's get a smoker. So there's a smoker, there's a smoked brisket, there's the smoked ribs. And like, what about a carving station? What about the steaks? What about the bourbon? What about fish eaters? Oh, okay, we'll have fish too. And there needs to be desserts, and there needs to be ice cream, and there needs to be a salad bar. So you go down there and you're like, what is this? This is not a barbecue with hot dogs and hamburgers. No, this is open until, and then when that's over, you go to dinner.
Right.
And then dinner is 4 courses.
It's a real feast.
No, but the kids, the whole thing is the moms are at ease because they can feed the kids whenever they need to feed the kids.
So based on what you're saying, with all the
European programs can't do that.
The amount of foods, the kids program, your people that are coming for vacation, or they're coming because of the convenience of they don't want to make Pesach and they want.
They're coming to be. I've learned that parents are happy on vacation when they can be relaxed. So you could be in a beautiful destination. You can be in, what's a vacation? A vacation is being at ease, having your kids entertained, having time to, it could be as simple as reading a book.
Right.
And looking out over, we're on a lake, and sitting out on a chair, looking at the lake, reading a book, knowing my kids are in camp, my kids have food, my husband went out to play basketball or went for a jog, my in-laws or my parents, if it's an extended family, they're at a lecture, they're busy, then you get together like the Catskills used to be. Right. I'm a kid of the Catskills.
Oh, you used to go to the Catskills?
I went to the Concord as a child.
By the way, on that note,
I'm a very big...
What got you into this business? Because
my youth in the Concord.
Your youth in the Concord
was the most inspirational thing of getting me into the hotel business.
Got it. What was your career path before you got into this?
I work in television. I'm a research director at Newsmax.
Got it. So you went into
Senior
journalism?
Vice President of Research.
Senior Vice President of Research.
Research and news information. Yeah, I work in...
So how do you go from that to Pesach programs and
people
parties?
have varied interests. You have basketball players who are artists. Everybody does their own thing.
No. I'm saying, like, how did you start?
I had a friend
what inspired you to just...
I always wanted to do it. I needed, it's one of these things.
Did you see that there was a need in the market?
I thought there was a need in the market for a program that was very guest oriented.
Got it.
I definitely felt that a lot of programs that I attended as a guest...
You attended programs
that I attended as a guest were lacking that, I don't know, there's an empathy that comes from being an operator. I read a lot of books on hospitality and food, but especially hospitality. And, you go to a really good hotel. My favorite story I ever heard was at the Four Seasons, that you would order up, you'd say that a button came off your shirt. So you call down to the housekeeper or the housekeeping department on the phone, and you say, "Oh, I need a needle,
Right.
and I need a sewing kit. Please come to my room." So you come up to the room, you bring them the sewing kit. Most hotels, if they come up within 5 to 10 minutes and bring you the sewing kit, they're great.
Mm-hmm.
A friend I grew up with years ago told me this happened to them when they were traveling. Right before they were on the way to a wedding, the button came off a suit jacket, and where are they going to sew it on? The housekeeper came up at the Four Seasons in Toronto at the time with the needle they spooled the needle with the thread through
That's
the needle.
Detail. Yeah, that's amazing.
And then they offered to do it, but they, just in case the person didn't want, they still brought it up. That's the service that I aim for.
Love
is
it.
that little
Love it.
extra. If you can make your guests feel extra special, I'm not saying I always do.
So what do you do extra? Give us one or two things.
I check in on my guests at every table, at every meal, 3 times a day for 10 days. You will get a visit from me at every meal 3 times a day. I will go to your desk and I will go to your table with your family and I will ask you how everything is. Me personally, not a staffer.
You were inspired to create this service for the kosher consumer.
Well, it's not
It's really
something
great.
people are used to seeing.
Yeah, they're not.
For a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, if things aren't going well, you don't want to necessarily go see the guests. I've had bad meals. I've had bad days. I know that could be uncomfortable.
What was in the past 5 years some type of like uncomfortable experience you had to face?
I haven't had anything really
Nothing bad.
The worst I ever had, the worst program I ever had where I learned everything about Pesach was my program in Maryland.
That was not your first year.
No, because it
That's
was my
so
first big year.
interesting.
That was my first
That's
year.
really
So
that was near
how many
Baltimore.
guests did you have like your first few years?
300, 350.
And in Baltimore, how many?
1150.
Oh, wow.
But
okay.
then Virginia, you had those numbers also.
Yeah, but by then I learned the business.
Got
more.
it. So that was the year when you almost doubled your crowd
That's the
size.
year I learned
Interesting.
everything. I learned everything. I learned that you can never be too cautious. You can never buy too much. You can never have too much staff. And you can't play so tight with those things. And if you have to do that, don't do it. If you're going into this with the expectation that you can not have enough staff, not have enough food, and you'll get away with it sometimes, but you can get away with it for 10 days straight, then
So
you're
what do
either
you
a
do?
magician.
So you're
We
saying
just
basically
buy too much.
over-order?
We have
And
too
what do you
much
do with the
stuff.
leftovers?
What?
What do you do with all the
It's
leftovers?
not the leftovers of the food. We're heavy. We're covered.
I
I'm not
understand, but you-
covered where I'm crazy. I'm just covered. A lot of the more expensive
It's so
programs are
fascinating
covered.
to me, like just to think about the logistics, like ordering the meat.
The meat's
steak
the
for
easiest.
1,000 people.
That's the
and you do it
easiest thing in the
3 meals
world.
a day.
How do you
The
count? It's
easiest
so overwhelming
thing in the
for
world
me. Like,
to order
Why
is
wow.
protein.
Why is that?
Because you count the number of guests and then you figure out how many steaks you need. That's easy.
Are you like
want
buying a
What's
steak
hard?
per
Produce.
guest? Produce. Why?
Produce and dry goods.
Oh, because you also have to balance the freshness.
How do you know how much produce to order? Lettuce. How do you know how much lettuce you need? Steaks. I'm doing a steak dinner for 1,000 people. I need 1,000 steaks. Oh, it's so difficult.
Right, and then
Lettuce
worst case
for
you have
1,000?
extra. Got it.
That's when I really have to be. That's produce. I don't touch produce.
Okay, but
I
getting
pay
produce-
somebody to do the produce ordering. I don't do the produce.
But the produce you
who's
could be
doing the
getting
produce?
I have a
refills.
gentleman who's a caterer
Got
for many
it.
years, an old hand who's very skilled, and he.
It really is a skill, like knowing what to order in amount,
But
so you don't end up over
meat,
ordering.
I order meat
Interesting.
myself. Meat's easy for me. I also like to pick the cuts I'm going to buy. We go back and forth on what we're doing this year. There were cuts I did last year I didn't like.
Which cuts didn't you like?
I got a hanger steak from Canada because
You
they
didn't like it?
No.
Why it was too irony? Like what was the issue?
No, it's not the same.
Got it.
It's not,
The
I only
quality.
buy American, and then
So
they
you
didn't
see-
have
you
enough.
saw the difference between
No, there wasn't
American.
enough to get, and
Got
I
it.
put it on the menu, and I'm like, Canadian hanger steak, how could it be? And
Mm-hmm.
it's still very expensive, and I'm like, didn't care for it. And then I
Right.
ordered a Korean short rib, and it was too thin, so it was hard. It got too
Tough.
It got too tough.
Yeah.
Those are my
That's a
two
good
things
cut,
I
though,
ordered.
but yeah.
It is a good cut, but I
I
wouldn't
hear
order
you.
again.
Okay. Yeah.
What's
also,
the best cut I ordered last
Yeah.
year, which blew me away? Skirt steaks.
Really? So the skirt
Delicious.
steak worked out. The hanger
Delicious.
didn't. Very similar.
cuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the
they're
skirt
just-
steak was American.
Of course.
We always have this conversation. If you really could tell the difference between American and non-American
I
meat,
think on the skirt and hanger.
I
it's
think
much
on
better.
You
all the
can tell the
grilled
difference.
meats, like
now
the
I'm going
grilled
to tell you
meats.
the truth.
Okay.
This is my opinion. I know Mendy Hertz, who comes on here, sometimes disagree. I can tell the difference on everything. down to the hamburgers.
Oh, so
down
we have to
the cholent
get
meat,
you to come in and take
down
the
to
test.
the cholent meat. My wife
You could tell the
made
difference.
it
We did a blindfold taste.
100%.
We braised a French roast.
It's not that it's not
and
good. I
people
just
were
know
not
it's not
able
the same
to
thing.
tell.
No
Okay,
way.
wait.
I don't buy
So
it.
we're gonna
We're
have
gonna
you.
have to do it.
Yes.
I don't buy it.
Okay.
Okay, well, this is maybe-
Even the hamburgers I know.
You know hamburgers?
Of course.
What do you
My
taste?
chefs
What do
tell
you
me
taste that's different?
On Pesach, I'm very strict that the hamburger meat has to be American.
But you're blending
and it
beef
has
and
to be
fat,
80-20,
like-
it has to be neck and skirt, and it has to
I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
What is the meat's not American? I know right away.
Most
Cholent meat? I'm picky. Cholent meat has to be American also. Finger meat only.
Got
American Aurora finger meat.
Okay, I guess with the cholent meat, you could tell because after 24 hours, there's that mouthfeel of
It's
like
not
it gets
the
very
mouthfeel.
dry.
The fat in the
That's what I'm saying.
American
Yeah,
meat
yeah.
has a flavor and a richness that cannot be replicated. It's not that you can't have a good steak from Argentina and Uruguay. You can. It's just not the same.
It's like the Coke and Pepsi debate.
By the way, and you can
Okay, we
overcook-
have to bring back because
And
we
you
did
can
this article.
overcook an American piece of meat.
Of
You can
course,
overcook it.
of course, and it will be
And
dry.
most people,
Yeah.
short ribs. I mean, come on, please. If anybody can't tell the difference between an American short rib and an imported short rib, I went to a wedding once.
I'm telling you, people can't and experts can't.
Yeah.
We have found this in our studio.
You are
We
unique.
cooked. Well, we have to test
I don't
his
buy it.
skill. We have to test your skill. In the magazine, we did an article.
I could be wrong. Maybe
No.
I haven't had it done well. It could be.
We
I'm
did
not-
an article and
I
we
just can
cooked
tell.
we cooked a Brazilian French roast, a Mexican one, a
and
Uruguayan one, and an American
Yeah,
one.
we did 4 last
And
Where
we
was
did
the
it all
American
the
from?
same-
Now let's get specific.
Ooh, okay, that I don't know. I bought it
Was
from
it
Gourmet Glatt.
Texas?
It was Ali.
Well, you know, because Gourmet Glatt, some of the stuff's Canadian.
No, we know that it was Ali.
Okay, that's a good question. There
wasn't-
you
Where
go.
was
wasn't
it from?
Canadian. It wasn't
Okay.
Canadian.
Well, there's different schlachthäuses.
That
Truth
is
meat is
interesting.
delicious.
Okay.
Aurora's delicious. Texas meat's not great. And there's a lot of Texas American stuff on the
Interesting.
market. I don't care for it. It's much because
But the idea
for
was we
meat
took
to be
these
good,
roasts.
it has to be cold, it has to be flat, and they have to be eating corn. They have to be eating grain. Those are the big
beef.
3. Too many hills, too hot,
Oh, they get tough.
it gets tough.
Okay.
And if
We'll
it's
get,
not
like,
super flat,
Your mom is doing research like a shidduch.
why? No, but I'm saying like I'm
This is the easy thing. To order the meat, that's the easy thing. Can you imagine?
this is but this is a real thing. I have genuine debates with the meat
This is
guys when I buy.
What do you do
What
if
do you
the
buy?
fridges go off? You're ordering so much meat. You're
It's a
stuck
great
in
question.
Atlanta. Now what do you do? The fridges,
fridges go off?
Electric goes off.
It happened 2 years ago.
So what'd you do?
I ordered trucks. I ran to go to
Wow.
Penske to go get trucks in the middle of the night. Go get trucks. It's like, what do you mean go get trucks? I didn't go to sleep. I waited till the trucks came, checking the temperature on the thermometer. I need trucks. I called around looking for trucks.
And the
I'm
refrigerated
cons-
trucks.
Of course.
Very, very.
Because what else am I going to get on
yeah.
short notice? Where else? First of all, if it's not a refrigerated truck, I don't have time to hook up the power. It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be a truck because it can run on run on diesel. People think Pesach programs is all about picking speakers, and I don't go to sleep at night without checking the temperatures of the boxes for if it's a Yom Tov for Shabbos. For
You go around checking the fridges and the
I
whole
touch. I look at the temperatures. What do you mean? What
What's
if there's a
your
fuse
Pesach
blew?
experience like on a personal level? Because you're working.
I like what I'm doing.
Okay, so
If it works.
Are you sitting for the Seder or you're busy?
No, I sit later.
You sit later.
I'm closer to being able to sit now than I've ever been, but I'm still not comfortable. People pay too much money for me to be sitting down like it's my vacation.
Got it.
People spent a fortune to come to these programs.
Right.
Either it's a couple, everybody's incomes are different. I have some families who save up all year. They squeeze into one room, 2 adults, 4 kids. The kids sleep on the. I don't know how they do it.
6 people in a room.
I mean, it happens.
Listen,
I'll
the kids
I'll
are
tell
out
you
all
how
day.
it happens.
If you're,
True.
I'll tell
some
you
people
how
are
it
cozy
happens. I'll tell
sleepers,
you how
like-
it happens. 6 people in a room, mom, dad, 3 kids and a baby, 100%. Kids in a pack and play, mom and dad in one bed, 2 kids in another, and somehow or other
or
they get a
the
rollover.
dad sleeps
Yeah,
with one kid, the
it
mom
can
sleeps
happen.
with 2 kids.
I don't get a lot of that, but I'm saying you have families who save up all year. This is their vacation. This is it. The kids are home from school. They're off yeshiva. The only time they can all take off together.
Right.
And the worst thing you can do is they can spend money,
And
come
you're not
there, and they're
fulfilling
unhappy.
your end.
You know what? You know what it feels like.
But the fact that
it's
you hear is what makes all the difference, I think. Like
Well,
the fact
I'm
that
around.
this is so important to you.
the guest happiness is the
yeah.
most important thing in the world to me. I mean, if it wasn't, then you can't do this.
Right.
You
So that's what
can't-
drives
you
you. It's
can't
not
do
just the business part of it
Oh, I'm a
or like
terrible businessman.
making money from the program.
I have a very good finance bookkeeper who runs my life.
Got it.
Without him, I mean, I'm giving mentions to people who work for me. Itchik Ormland, I mean,
Got it.
I don't know what I would do.
Right.
I'm not capable of these things.
Does he call you and say, Bruce, you have to stop
You have to
buying
rein it
things?
in. Yes,
No, he doesn't rein me in.
Got
He
it.
just makes sure bills are getting paid, things are organized,
Understood.
we know what we're paying for stuff.
So it sounds like hiring the right people is also part of success. Like
and
you have
retaining the right people.
Right. So you're spending 10 days before the program working on it. You're coming in with all your staff is coming 10 days before? Or like the waiters are coming? They come in waves when they're needed. Very
We
interesting.
don't bring 100 people. There's nothing to do for 100 people.
Got it.
There's
Right. The waiters
there's
and
a
waitresses
setup
don't need to
crew.
be there. Mm-hmm.
I don't come to the hotel until 2 days before.
Who's there in the beginning? The kitchen staff.
Jason, kitchen staff,
Kitchen.
and then gradually mashgichim, very early. They're like first.
Right.
They come. They have to be there. No, the mashgichim.
Right, because you said you start with baking.
Baking. We don't bake there.
Oh, you
Oh, so
bake
where's
somewhere
the baking?
else.
We baked last year. We rent the bakery in the Satmar Girls Camp in Benos Ruchel.
Okay, that's random. and
I send 7 people to live in the Catskills for 2 weeks, and they bake off everything there.
Wow,
And then
what
we
an
do the
operation.
finishing. Then we do the finishing on site.
Okay, got it.
I don't buy bakery.
All your chocolate, where's that done?
We buy a lot for tea room, and then we make chocolate in the hotel. I have
Make
a
it
very
in the hotel.
skilled chocolatier who's won awards, Ibo Dadzi. And
Are you
he's
doing,
in the hotel. We
are you
make
doing
most
it
of
yourself
our
to
own
save
chocolate.
money or to maintain
No,
quality?
I want better product. I've been
Got
fighting to figure out how to make my own ice cream. It's my new shtick.
Okay.
But everybody's telling me not now. We're not ready for that. This year, we don't have enough power to start building a
Who's
ice
everyone?
Got it.
In
Your
your program?
staff.
Your
staff, people working with me, Jason, others.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to make my own ice cream. I want a gelato store.
It's
I
very
want to make
doable,
everything.
But
Everything's doable.
but you
we
have to
buy
spend
the
a lot
machine.
of money. Yeah.
You have to hire someone who knows how to make
you
it
could do
work.
soft. I see a lot of
Soft ice cream I have.
soft serve.
That's easy.
That's easy.
Yeah, but that I'm not making the mix.
Got it.
But I mean, to make gelato like Noidui does and stuff like that, to get fruit and sit there.
Maybe
and,
he could do it. Does he
Yeah,
do
but he
Pesach
needs the
rice?
equipment. You need
Right, you're
equipment,
making
you
a
need
lot.
time,
And
you
then
You're
you're
need
making a
investing
lot.
it for 1 week.
You're investing in it for 1 week.
Right.
If I could rent the equipment, I'd be more inclined. But
And you can't because of kosher, or you could.
No, but Ebo has a little chocolate store in the hotel.
What's Ebo?
Ebo is the chocolatier.
Got it.
So Ebo makes chocolate. I mean, Ebo's making truffles, and he makes all the.
You bought in the equipment, you have your own
He
equipment.
has all the equipment.
has the
That I've invested in. So he has
That's
all the
so
equipment. He makes chocolate. There's a team of 2 or 3, and he's prepping chocolate for the chocolatiers.
Right.
For not for the Viennese.
There's so much that goes
So
on.
he's
There's a
his
lot to
own
like.
entity. But the
There's a lot
Ebo,
to
I mean,
manage.
he's making his own truffles, his own barks, his own ganaches.
Yeah.
He's making chocolate fountain
What do you
things.
do
He's dipping
after the
apples,
program is
fruit.
over for yourself? Are you going on vacation?
No, go home, go back to work.
When do you go on vacation?
Or do you
I
feel
don't
like you
need it.
need a
I don't.
vacation? No.
You
I could
thrive
do
off,
it every day.
of being busy and running around. and-
If I have enough people to delegate all the different responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
to, I'm good.
Wait, so you don't go on vacation?
After Pesach, no.
Eventually.
My wife wants to go on vacation. She
Right.
needs a break more because it's hard on family life.
That is interesting, right? It's like almost being married to
I
a
don't
doctor. In a way. Like they're
personally-
just out there serving everybody.
I don't really need the break,
Got it.
but it's a nice idea. We've done it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean we go away for the if we can. We like to go away for Sukkot.
So all the programs, you said there were so many programs in the United States. Did these programs move out, or did they
lot
shut
of them
down and
moved
new
out.
programs?
There's
Where
just-
did many
It's
programs
impossible
move
to get a hotel in America today.
It's
It's
God,
next
the
to
hotels
impossible.
don't want programs?
No.
why?
They don't want to sell out? What is it?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I'm not going to discuss it on that. There's
Got
a series of reasons why hotels don't want it. Some has to do with hotels. Some has to do with
Clientele? Okay.
No, it's a lot of kids.
No, it's not a
No?
clientele thing.
It's a wear and tear. No,
It's
if
the
you have
wear
a lot
and
of
tear.
people,
It's
wear
the
and tear.
kids. It's the
Listen,
the
you
displacement
you
of
said
revenue.
you have 350 kids under 12.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
Go to a random
it's not
hotel on a given day. They don't have
They don't
that
want-
amount.
they
of
don't
I'm
want
people.
not speaking against other guys. It's just it's a tough business sometimes. I've been on
Got
the
it.
other side of things where you're fighting with the hotel over things. 12 years ago, I walked into a hotel in Cape Cod and there was no labor. And my chef called me at the time, a very big celebrity named Sruli Subar at the time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Sruli told me, he called me. I remember where I was. I was in Manhattan picking up Sefer Torahs from Rabbi Metzger.
Another thing you forget about. Oh, they pick up
So I went to go pick up. I was born in 2 Sefer Torah for Pesach, and I was just leaving the Chabad house, and he was lending me 2 Torahs. So I put the Torahs in the car, I wrapped them in talesim. They were, secured with seatbelts because I don't want them moving around. And this really calls me. He says, "We have a problem." I'm like, "What?" He says, I didn't want to tell you because I thought they'd eventually show up, but there's no workers. That's what he talked about. Pesach's in 4 days. He says, I don't have enough people to cook. So why didn't you tell me? So I was hoping they would come because they kept saying they're trying to find them, but they're not here. And Pesach's 4 days away. You know, I'm a young operator. That was my second year. And I was like, what do you want to do? So at the time I was doing Pesach with Mr. Greenwald. And I said, Isaac, what do we do? So we went to get workers. So we found a crew that had nowhere to go for Pesach. And we put them in a van, like hired a driver and put them in a van and sent them to the hotel in the middle of the night.
Wow. And did those
which
workers
I didn't budget for.
Wow.
I had no, the guests are coming and I don't have
the
any
hotel
labor
was
to cook
supposed
the
to
food.
provide, right. So that's why now you're bringing
people,
all
when they
your-
tell me they're running in the hotels providing staff, it can work. And there are hotels where it works well, like Doral, the Hour of the Ram program, probably the Lasco program in
Right.
Jeremy does in Florida. And it could be some others. I'm not familiar with
Right.
everybody.
What do you
But-
suggest people look into? Like people
But
are
it's
looking to
risky
go
business.
not people looking to go into the business, but people looking to find a hotel program that's right for them.
What research could they
What
do?
what research do you recommend people to do? Because there have been stories about people going to programs that weren't successful or they
Don't
thought
live
they
up
were
to
getting
expectations.
Get references.
get references.
But what about new
And
programs?
if it's too cheap, in Europe, if it's too cheap, you can get lucky. But you can get very unlucky.
So basically, it's like if
It can't be too
it's too
cheap.
good to be true. It's
probably
it's not true.
too.
It's not good.
There are exceptions.
Okay.
There are programs in Greece where the hotels are empty and they're selling the rooms to the operators for like $35 a night.
Wow.
That exists.
Okay.
$40 a night in Europe.
So then you're getting
Then you can get away, but you don't know that. And again, I'm not here to speak. Every program is good on their own level. People call me all the time. We don't want to come to you this year. We want to go somewhere else. Where should we go? I tell me names and I make recommendations.
people
With
ask you.
no-
It's not
with-
offensive.
No, not at all.
No.
I don't view that
Interesting.
as what they don't want to come here now. They can come next year. I have
I
a
love
client
that.
this year.
No, but I like that they're comfortable enough to ask you.
Sure.
Right? Like
It's not offensive to me.
it's
I
like
wanna-
it's like calling up a makeup artist and saying, "I liked you for last wedding, but this wedding I want
No.
something
Give me
different."
someone
No,
else.
It's not a way.
It's not the same thing?
No, it's a restaurant.
Okay,
You went
okay.
out to Doma.
Okay,
We're still
understood.
in the 5 towns. Where else is good
Okay.
to go?
That's fair.
Oh, Prime Bistro's good. You can go there. That's a really nice restaurant. You can go to Anjou if you want Asian food. If you want dairy, you can go to next door. We own that. I don't view it
Okay,
that
got
way
it.
because I know that if they had a good experience with me, they may not come to eat my meat every night, but they'll come back in a couple years. And I view repeat customers on a cycle. I don't view them coming to me year after year.
And you're in the
after
business
year.
long enough to see that that is the case, where like somebody
In
might
my
not come back
case,
to you,
yeah.
but they'll come back to you.
I have a family coming to me this year.
Okay.
From Boston. I'm not going to say their names, but Boston, like a mix of Boston, New York.
Area.
They were at my second program in Cape Cod. And I haven't had their
Wow.
mom, I think, is coming.
Okay.
And she hasn't come to me in at least 9 years, 8 years. And she's coming this year, but
That's
she'd
very
been
cool.
to me many times before.
What products are you using the most of?
For what?
Like, what are you using a lot of? We were at your program.
Besides
for
like the
Pesach.
proteins and the produce, like
Yeah.
what pantry products for Pesach?
I mean,
do
you had
find
cheesecake
that-
every morning by breakfast, and then you had or cheese.
But you make very good cheesecake.
So
I
it's
make
like-
a very good cheesecake. Pesach.
Well,
I
you
don't
have
make
you have
it.
to go
What would be
test it.
surprising?
Yossi Weiss, my
I have
baker,
to go
makes the
see what
cheesecake.
questions people sent in. But
I'm
you
throwing
go.
names out of people because I feel bad because everybody contributes to the program and I want to make sure if this is going online,
Sure.
they should get credit. But no, Yossi does a lot of the baking. Then Madison, I have a young lady, Madison Lalonde. She works there and she does all the plate.
But I remember, like you had your cheese display thing going on there.
Yeah.
Every morning, you're going through an insane amount of.
No, we allocate. We pretty much can guess how much we need per day. We're off. Don't get me wrong. I'm heavy, but I mean, cheese is one of the things where you can put it out one day. If it doesn't go, you can put it. If it's
What's
not cut
your
into, you
biggest
put it out
order?
again.
Your biggest order is your meat order.
Yeah, meat's the biggest. Meat.
So on Instagram,
Meat
I
and
asked everyone.
produce.
This is so funny.
Meat
because,
followed by
like,
produce.
It's so
Yeah.
people are always very interested in the financial side of it. So a lot of people are like, "How much money do you make doing a Pesach program, or why is it so expensive?" What are the costs that are involved, etc.?
It's a very expensive.
I mean, I just asked 3 questions because I didn't want to put you on the spot.
How much money you make?
How much do you make? It's very awkward.
You have good years and bad years.
Understood. So it all will like balance
I've
itself
had
out.
years which
But
are
very
very bad.
similar to the restaurant business.
You have good nights and
yeah.
bad nights.
Right.
And you have costs you don't expect. You know, once a
Yeah, the
guest
difference
comes
is
to
you're running it once
Pesach
a year.
Right.
and the cost of eggs goes up, you can't call people up and say, come pay more money for the eggs.
Right. Or like you mentioned, if the fridge breaks and you're
It's
renting
my problem.
trucks, it's on you.
It's all on me. And
But
if
it's
the-
also you're basing your annual parnasa off that 1 week.
Right.
well, that's why I don't only base it. I have other work.
Okay.
I need stability of where to go Monday to Friday. I wouldn't do that.
I heard people talking.
Are there
makes
people
my
who
life
do that?
easier.
Are there people who only do Pesach programs
Sure.
for a
And
living?
if you can be very successful at it.
I heard people throwing out numbers. I don't know if it's true or not, but
What?
like a good Pesach operator can make $1 million from a Pesach program.
Yeah, it can be done.
Really?
Sure. I've heard of programs making more. And then I've heard of programs, if they're lucky, they're making $20,000. And I have programs that are in the red and they're losing $300,000. I did a
Interesting.
Shabbos Hanukkah program last year. I lost money because it was post October 7th. I had signed the contract before October 7th, not realizing this was going to be something people weren't comfortable going to. And
Right. The timing could sometimes just.
the
What was
timing,
it like during COVID?
well, I lost a fortune during COVID.
Did all Pesach programs? Did you operate that year, or
No,
was
that
shut
year
down?
they all
We
shut
shut
down.
That year,
down.
everything
Everybody
shut down. Did you get back money from it?
Well, the hotel eventually gave back some money, but that took. But
That
we'd
was-
already laid out money for product. I'd already laid out
Wow.
money for advertising. I'd already laid out money for equipment.
You
I'd
paid some
already
of
laid
your
out money
staff.
for insurance. I already paid some of my staff.
Yeah.
I already paid people who worked for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was out a lot. And I was in debt. I went one morning, I woke up, I was in debt, I don't know, a lot, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And I wasn't working because COVID, nobody left the house.
They're all signing.
How do
these
you
big
deal with that? That's a lot. I mean, a lot.
Well,
of
there
people,
was a big debate. We had a big debate internally.
Okay.
What do you do?
Okay.
What does the contract say? I spoke to Rabbanim, and Rabbanim said there's a concept in halacha of something happening, like a hurricane,
Natural
and something to
disaster.
blame, a natural disaster, and that no one benefits, nobody wins, you don't give back anything. Or you give back, you don't give back. In other words, there was leniency.
Right.
And I spoke to a lawyer, and he said the contract was written in such a way where he said that if the program doesn't happen, I never anticipated that I wouldn't do the program for that.
Right.
Where I had never experienced such a thing. We hadn't had such a thing since the flu in 1919, 1917. So I wasn't prepared for it. And I said I was going to get back money, but I noticed I never said when. So I went back and forth on it. I didn't know what to do. And I called other operators, and everybody was debating what to give back, what not to give back, what percentage to give back. And I had enough money to give back a certain percentage in the bank. But I didn't have enough to give back all of it. So I decided to give back whatever I had within reason. I kept back maybe 5% just to cover some expenses because there was going to be expenses moving forward, legal fees. I kept short term, but over time, I paid back then, I think the deal was 65% right away. And then the last 35% in 3 installments over 3 years with in a choice of cash or credits. So
credit to programs up.
if they want to come back to me, we'll credit the bill. And if you left all your money with me, I gave you 105 cents on the dollar. Any
Got
money
it.
people left me because I was able to live. I had no money. I was broke. Some people left money with me because they were going to come next year or 2 years down the road.
Wow.
But most of my guests did the 65-35. And then we, over 3 years, every year after Pesach, the first checks we wrote to those guests, and people would call us. And they would say, it's Pesach's over, where's my money? And we'd be like, okay, well.
These are people that came back the next years or not?
Some did, some didn't. Some did, some didn't.
Wow.
But we paid them back over 3 years. And
Wow.
that experience
That
led
solidified your
to
clients.
not just client, it solidified my reputation.
Wow.
So then
Because a lot of
selling
programs
room-
weren't able to
They
do
physically
that.
couldn't.
I couldn't either,
the
but I
contracts that they
understand.
have with the hotels are really
Simon
tight.
Auerbacher at RAM is a friend of mine.
Okay.
And I like Simon a lot. And I called Simon during this whole thing. I mean, I would call other operators, like, what do you do? I spoke to a lot of people. And
You're all in
Simon's-
the same boat.
Yeah, but I didn't have any money behind me. Like, I didn't have investors.
Right,
It was me by
right.
myself. Like this was like if I was gonna like start to like take out a mortgage, take food, I wouldn't have food. I mean, there was nowhere to get money. Simon said to me something very smart, and I give him credit for it. I mean, I don't know if I've ever done it publicly before, but I'm giving him credit now. He said, if you can find a way to pay the guests back and make them whole, if you can find a way to do that, you'll always be good in this business. He says, if you can find a way. So I would speak to him and I said, this is what I came up with. And he says, is it fair? And he says, you're a sole operator. You don't have a lot of money behind you. You don't have investors. Anybody who has tinnitus or criticisms of you can't have real criticisms of you, because I mean you're literally doing the best you could. You know, that was the best we could do, and it was fair. Yeah. I mean,
and you see that his words were true, like it solidified you. Meaning,
I don't know if it solidified me entirely. I think we had a good reputation before.
That's true.
But I think that it.
How much is a Pesach program
today?
Yeah.
Our starting price is about $15,000 a couple. Plus, but then if you booked early, you got.
And how many days does that cover?
It's a whole Yom Tov, not including early check-in. Early check-in's probably another $1,000, $1,100.
Got it.
And early check-ins, you don't have to take it. I mean, some people do, some people don't. Everybody says, "How do you not take it?"
And once people pay for Pesach, what else are they?
By me,
there's tipping staff, right?
Minimal tipping of staff, like $100, $120 a guest. So a family of four is tipping like $300-$400.
That's it. You're providing everything else.
Yeah, and they tip the counselors in camp $20 a kid if they want.
And do you know, like, what's the most more on the?
But that's arbitrary.
Your program
the tipping to the staff is not. You have. One of the things I've learned is that if my waiters and waitresses do not get tips, then the level of service is not the same, and the tips can't.
But
come
how do they know
me.
before?
Well, they know that they're going to get tips. We give them a range of what to expect based on what we tell people to give. The recommended tips, but we want the guests to be, the waiters have to get something, have something to work for, something to feel that they're going to get rewarded. And there are guests who are very generous tippers. I have guests tipping 5 times what I recommend. Wow. 6 times what I recommend.
So what's your opinion about the added tip that comes standard on menus? Because it almost takes away that motivation.
Restaurants are a little bit different.
It's different.
You give a little bit more.
Do you
tipping
think
in New York
tipping
in New York in general is very expensive versus the rest of the world.
Got it.
Also.
Okay.
New York tipping is a standard at almost 20% today.
Right.
The rest of the world's at outside the United States it's 10. In Canada and other places like 15.
But outside of the United States at 10, people are super grateful.
Yeah.
Right? It's
you
like,
you get 5
if you're in France,
you get 5.
They're so
Yeah.
thankful.
Yeah.
I think that
It's very interesting.
I don't have an opinion on tipping. I just know.
No, you were sharing that working for the tip does motivate staff to a certain extent.
Yeah, we guarantee them an income.
I'm saying they're
salary.
obviously, and you said they come back.
Sometimes we have a guest who doesn't tip them at all, and then it's if I know they went above and beyond, then I will personally give them something.
Got it.
Because I don't want them to get a bad taste in their
Fascinating
mouth.
stuff.
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
such an
interesting to
interesting
see like
business.
what goes on behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes is not. I mean, the behind the scenes is.
Give us a
wild.
day in your life, and we'll end with that because we've been talking for so long.
I don't
We'd
know
love
if
to
this
have
is
you back.
interesting.
It's very interesting. A day in the life of someone
People
who's running
really
a Pesach
do not
program.
know what goes into it, or they don't.
Yeah.
Realize.
What time are you waking up?
Me, I wake up at about. I'm not the first one up in the program.
Okay.
I don't do breakfast.
I do,
but
remember when we did-
I will do breakfast if I feel that it's not going as well as I want. I usually get up at about 7.
Okay.
But he's also up. I remember.
But I'm the last. I close my hotel down.
Yeah.
I'm the last
1
one to go
o'clock,
to
2
sleep.
o'clock in the morning. Still
No,
Right.
later.
Yeah, we're
Crazy.
gonna. So you're
I'm
not
the last.
Right.
I'm the last one to go to sleep.
Okay.
So I don't want to be the first one up. There's someone else to open up breakfast. And in a Pesach program, most guests are not coming out at 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
It's a slow. It's like the hotels in Israel when you go. If you ever go to Israel,
Yeah.
the rush at breakfast isn't it when the doors open. It's when the doors close.
Yeah.
So everybody's running there for breakfast after.
That's
so,
very true. I'm like
so you
thinking about
don't
myself.
have to be there crack of dawn. But I'm up then, and then you go, you see how everything's going around, you have conversations. I'll go check with my chef. We'll talk about what the plates are going to look like for lunch. If it's a Yom Tov, like what's this look like? What's that look like? I'll go discuss tasting. He'll show me everything. I love my chef, and he'll come and he'll show me. He's like, this is what we're
Who's
doing
that?
today.
Jason?
No, Solomon.
Solomon.
So Solomon will show me how we're making this and how we're making that and how do you want this and how do you want that. And everybody's waiting for me to like give an opinion because I have a lot of opinions on how things should look and taste.
Got it.
And there's like, how should this look? How should that look? And I usually say like, do what you want. to a certain degree. I trust him, but there's sometimes questions. Like I used to have a shtick that the chicken I don't even know if we're even doing it, but the chicken for the chicken nuggets has to be brined.
Got it.
It's a shtick.
It makes it juicy.
Brine the chicken for the chicken nuggets. Make sure you brine the chicken nuggets. If you're making a veal Milanese, make sure that you tenderize them fully.
Right.
It should be really, really paper thin.
We did have such a good veal Milanese at your program. It was very memorable.
It's delicious.
It's delicious. It's very, very good.
We buy
Okay, so
I bought my veal.
Checking breakfast.
I just bought veal. I bought all my veal.
And veal is hard to get now.
I know, that's why I bought it now.
Okay, nice. Okay.
But that's nothing you're thinking about early.
I got 40 cases. I just bought 40 cases.
Okay.
I have enough veal to serve Milanese 2 times.
We can't get veal in the stores, but Bruce has veal for his Pesach program.
I'm done with veal.
Okay, that's awesome.
I ordered my veal.
Okay,
I ordered
so
my
you're
lamb
doing
chops.
breakfast. You're checking on lunch. After you're speaking to the chef, what's your next step?
I go around. I speak to Mendel Rosenfeld, who does the program directing stuff.
Got it.
I ask him what's going on there. Then I'll go check in on the camp. I don't get so involved in the camp. We have a wonderful camp director, Onit Zisserman, and she runs the camp.
Okay.
And she's pretty, she's got everything. But I'll go check on the camp, and I like to check on everything.
So you're overseeing and then dealing with whatever issues.
And then the issues come up.
Are you dealing with the hotel management at all during the day?
Sure, we have lots of conversations with the hotel management. Why this? Why that? There's a fight. Usually, a really good operator is a firefighter.
Okay.
His job is to put out fires. If I always say that the program to run well, I have to have nothing to do. I have to wake up with no job.
Got it.
Once I am required to do something, then if there's a fire, then I may not be available to go to tend to it. And if I go tend to it, my responsibility won't get done. So the experience I had as a manager of a program, an overseer is that the best operators are the operators who have nothing to do. Okay. Nothing set to do.
Right. It's like a good principle of a school.
Because if you give yourself lots of responsibilities during the day that I'm responsible to do, and then I get caught up because there's a development or an issue. And issues on a Pesach program are varied. A kid has an allergic reaction to poison ivy. A mom has heart pains, has to take to the hospital. A man was waiting for a cart of dialysis that didn't come. The toilet in their room blocked up.
And you're involved in arranging all these things for these people?
I'm not involved, but when things don't go well, they're looking for me.
Right.
Now, obviously, you have a lot of skilled people. We have there's my wife who helps and is involved, Rochelle.
You have medics or solos?
We have Mendel Rosenfeld is a paramedic. He's in the hotel 24/7 with the full gamut of stuff, including the heart thing, whatever that's called, the dilator, defibrillator. We have one. We have doctors in the hotel, but Mendel's a paramedic who works for me, which means he's running around if a kid cuts or bruises. And then, you're just busy. And then Bassi's dealing with guests, but there's a million different things. Last year, a classic example, there was a guest who showed up at the hotel with a lot of luggage. Baruch Hashem, it was a big family, a lot of people, thrilled to have them, but they had a lot of bags. And I happened to be out deciding I was going to run an errand. For whatever reason, wasn't a smart move on my part. I come back, I see there's all these bags, they're not getting to the rooms, they're all coded and labeled in a special way. And I asked, what's going on? He said, no, I got it. A gentleman working for me, a great person working for me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you do your thing. Come back an hour later, it's still being done. I said, tell me what's going on. So I have it figured out. I said, I'm going to tell you something. If we need to move the bags to a room, I can go pull 10 waiters from the kitchen, 15 waiters from the dining room, and I can just go put the bags in 10 minutes. It's like, oh, you can do that? I said, yes, I can do anything. I can do whatever I need to do. I will pull people to do things like that all the time. So, while you delegate a lot in a program to make it run smoothly, the people who work in a program or contribute to a program have to understand that, okay, now I need to go to Bruce and ask him what to do.
That's very interesting.
There are those moments where, okay, this is a me thing. And then I'll make an executive decision. Sometimes or I'll know who makes the executive decision on how to deal with it. And that's okay. But, the people who work with me understand that, there's constantly asking me those questions. So I'm walking around.
And then your day ends by 1 a.m. about?
Yeah, but I'm not really involved in anything specific.
I hear you. So now that we got a little bit of a glimpse into your day, a little bit, What's a food day like for the guests? Because we didn't really touch on food, and we're a food
Well, you're
podcast.
a food show.
Yeah. Let's
So
talk
we
about
wake
what's
up-
for breakfast, snack, dinner,
I
etc.
should have been talking about that. Like I said, I'm not here to promote. I was trying to be honest, make this interesting.
No,
Otherwise, it's like an
100%.
infomercial, and who wants that?
Right.
I mean, I could do it.
And
So I'll tell
actually,
you
for
a day.
full transparency, you're not here as like a client or anything.
No, not at all.
No, I know. We just thought it would be really interesting to interview
So
you. But
we start off with the day with the pre-breakfast.
okay.
Let's say that's at about 6 o'clock,
That's in
5:36.
the tea room or that's in the main
Tea room. Well, the coffee shop. We have a coffee
Coffee
shop.
shop.
So the coffee shop has a barista. The coffee shop opens at about 6:30. And then in the tea room, we also have coffee and pastries and yogurt and fruit. No hot food.
Okay.
That's at about
So that's
5:30, 6
pre-breakfast,
o'clock,
okay.
6:30. That breakfast, let's say 6, because the tea room's open 24/7. You can go there at 3 in the morning. It's staffed. There is a person working there.
Wow. Okay.
We have a night shift. So if you go there and there's a guy replenishing and cleaning, we usually do like most hotels, like a night auditor. The tea room night person is responsible to keep the tea room clean at night. So, but he's there if you need something, 24/7.
What's in the tea room at night?
Whatever's
There's
drinking
always
for the
nash.
day.
It's going to be nash.
Fruits?
you know,
Every
ice
kind
cream,
of chocolate
fruit.
they make, every nut
Dry
they
fruit,
make, every
nuts,
fruit they
candy.
make, every nut they make. There's always whole fruit.
So that's
cut
available
fruit,
all day.
chips,
Got it.
cookies, candy.
Okay, so you have
cakes,
pre-breakfast and
pastries.
then
Pre-breakfast, which is like early morning risers breakfast, whatever. Coffee, but the coffee shop opens.
Okay.
That's a big deal. So people can get fresh coffee before they go daven or whatever. If there's a daf yomi shir in the morning, it happens to be. Then there's full breakfast. Breakfast has stations. I like things made on the stations as much as possible. We squeeze the orange juice of breakfast. We have that machine that goes down the pike, and the oranges get smashed. You get juice. I'm still trying to figure out how it doesn't get it clogs up easily. So I'm gonna have to buy this thing so it works quicker. But it makes good orange juice, and then you have a full coffee station, but not with the barista. The barista is only in the coffee shop.
Got it.
The Starbucks, whatever it's called. It's a Starbucks in the hotel normally.
You turned it into, your
coffee
own
shop.
coffee shop.
Then there's regular brewed coffee. There's omelet stations, pancakes, waffles, fruits, milkshakes, smoothies, cheeses, a whole gamut of cheeses,
All the
a full
mazainas,
smoked
cheesecakes.
cheesecakes.
This
You
is
know
at
we
the
bake
breakfast
now.
buffet?
Breakfast buffet.
You know what's a great thing you
Very
should put in your
cool.
Pesach issue?
What?
Pan de queijo. We
What's
started
that?
making it now. It's
Pan de
Panda
queijo?
queso. Panda queso?
pan de queijo. Pan de queijo, it's called in Brazil.
Okay.
It's the tapioca starch cheese bread.
The cheese
Oh,
rolls,
yes,
the
yes.
cheese
So we
rolls.
bake
Okay.
those off fresh in the morning.
Yum.
So
Okay.
that's like a dairy scone, but it's
Got it.
savory. It's like a savory
It's like
thing.
salty and savory.
Yeah, but it happens to be a recipe that really doesn't have any flour. It's just tapioca
like
starch and
naturally.
cheese.
That's like a whole thing. It's fun to do for Pesach. Like things that are
It's a
naturally
great
gluten-free.
recipe. It's super easy.
a good
Anyone
idea.
can
I'm gonna
make
write it
it.
down.
So we make those fresh.
I think actually Pier 26, when Benji Hammer
Yes,
opened it,
yes.
he
Used
had
to
that
have
bread.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
It was that cheese bread.
It's a cheese bread.
Very
So we make
fluffy.
that. Then we bake off all the muffins. We bake off all the donuts. My bakery team is down at 3:34 in the morning. They're prepping
So that's
for breakfast.
So that's breakfast. Now then,
I'm not done because we're baking all the
pastry.
pastry, all the muffins, all the donuts, all the everything.
You've got the fish station, which
I
has
have
the
a full,
lox,
all
herring?
the kinds of fish, lox, 5 kinds of herring, 3 kinds of lox plus sable.
Tuna,
we always
egg
have
salad
sable.
every morning.
Tuna, egg salad, a full salad station.
And this is just for breakfast.
Yeah,
How are people even eating lunch after this?
we want everything. The Israeli breakfasts are great, but the Israeli breakfasts have a lot. They think they have more variety because there's things it's not Pesach they can do.
Right.
But I mean, the quality of the smoked salmon I buy is fantastic.
Right.
The cheeses I
Moving
buy, the
along.
vast majority is European.
That's so cool.
So
Wow.
like there's
You're saying you have French cheeses and things like that.
yeah, I have everything. Roquefort,
I
raclette,
think I remember
camembert,
actually having-
brie.
I think we had the
So people
aged
go take a
Havarti.
nap. They're
Havarti.
taking a nap after breakfast.
No, they
I'm
don't.
joking.
Then after breakfast
The aged
opens,
Havarti, I think we had it the first time.
Oh
on the
yeah, that was
program.
very.
I
Good.
have all that. I have
Yeah.
everything the cheese mix of the cheese
Got
guys
it.
and all the
Oh
different
yeah, very
makers.
good stuff. Yeah.
We buy everything.
Then you
And
still have full breakfast.
I
moving
buy
on
the
to tea
Hermitage
room.
stuff. I place the Hermitage order. It has to be placed in February
Right.
because
That's-
otherwise they won't ship it here. So I buy the raclette wheels, everything.
Yum.
Oh wow.
So
Yum.
that's for breakfast. Is there anything I'm missing? Anything I'm missing?
I
No,
think we-
probably
I think
not.
you gave us a good
Salad.
picture.
There's salads and vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
The salads is
Yep.
vegetables, and then there's some chafers, French toast, things
What
like
of
that.
Is
that?
it and that's a
continues-
buffet?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a double. It's a
Okay.
double buffet.
Yeah.
Then after breakfast, and then we'll do coffee service at the table.
Got
So
it.
once you're seated, someone will serve you coffee at the table.
That's really
because
nice.
people don't want to have to get up while they're eating breakfast to
Sloshing
go
coffee also.
Right.
No,
That's
but
smart.
you can get your first cup,
For
but
sure.
we'll refill.
Okay, got it.
I saw other hotels do that. Even
It's a
by
nice
buffets,
touch.
they refill.
That's nice.
So coffee will get refilled at the table, and if you have waiters will get things for you if you don't want to get up. You can ask your waiter. If you see a waiter, can you please go get me another plate of egg salad?
Right. So now let's go from lunch and on. Okay.
So after lunch, what else is there? Anything special in lunch? I mean, we make a lot of our own products in lunch.
You said it's milchik. It's a milchik lunch or
It
parrot.
depends. This is chalamoid.
Obviously. Okay.
Oh,
On
interesting.
chalamoid.
Right.
We're
right.
talking chalamoid. I'll go quick so I can go through
Okay.
all of it fast. So you have
Yeah.
chalamoid, then there's the barbecue, and the tea room then has a pizza shop. The pizza shop opens.
So the pizza shop opens after lunch.
No, it's open during lunch.
Oh boy.
The pizza shop is open right away,
Mm-hmm.
and there's usually French fries there, I think. I'm not sure. It depends. No, we have. And then there's pizza, French fries, and that's it. And then there's all the tea room stuff with the ice creams and the ice cream station and the scooping and everything. Then there's the barbecue. The barbecue, literally, I spoke about earlier, has everything. There's every cut of meat.
It's a full feast.
It's a full
Yeah.
feast. And that runs pretty much through dinner. And then during dinner, it's a plated dinner always. And dinner would be an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. There's always choice by the soups, and there's choice by the dinners, and there's a salad bar. We always have a salad bar at every meal of the day. There's a salad bar, a real salad bar, not like 2 salads, 20 different toppings, 5 different kinds of lettuce.
This is
30 different
outside
vegetables.
of like you're sitting
list
and then
is
you can
like
go to
the salad bar. There's
That's
always
so
a salad
fun.
bar.
The salad bar sounds fun.
And there's always
Yeah.
a salad bar. There's a wine display, and there's a full bar. There's a full bar by the barbecue. There's a full bar
Wow.
with mixed drinks. And then there's a full bar at any opportunity we have one. We also have a bar by the pool that's open all the time for people who want to get drinks by the pool if they don't want to go to the
So it's
barbecue.
never ending. And
So
it's a
that's
lot.
those things are available. Then you have dinner. Then after dinner, the tea room is always open. It'll get restocked with more snacks. And then after whatever the show is, there'll be a Viennese. And the Viennese will be themed, and there'll be chocolates and different.
Crazy.
There'll be a whole chocolate themed Viennese, and that's stuff that Ibo makes. And that'll be dipped fruit day, where there's like every kind of dipped fruit, and then chocolate. Then there'll be a bark day, and there's a this day. And then there'll be all the usual stations. There's a donut station and a crepe station, and there's an ice cream station, and there's cookies and there's pastries, and it runs the whole length.
Wow.
On Yom Tif, the breakfast is about the same. If it's not Shabbos, there'll be hot foods, pretty much all the same items, give or take. Then there's Kiddush. And my Kiddush is very, very elaborate. Kids stay in camp during Kiddush, unless if you choose to take them out. So they have kids Kiddush. So parents get a time to socialize and have a break.
Yep.
It's a big deal.
That's
So
amazing.
parents you can go and meet other people and not be chasing your kids all around.
And then after Kiddush is
Now
still
that's
full
relaxing, yeah.
lunch.
And then after that, there's a lecture. One of our great speakers, whether it's Rabbi Yoel Gold or
Simon Jacobson.
Charlene Amanoff is going to
Oh,
be with
very
us this
nice.
year, Rabbi Simon Jacobson, and others. And then there will be a speech. And then after the speech, there'll be a full lunch. It'll be a 3-course lunch with a preset, no
You're
soup.
still doing fish, like the fact that people had fish before.
The first course?
Yeah.
No, we always have gefilte fish on request. I don't give a fish by the lunch necessarily. By dinner, I do.
You have a sushi
not
bar.
by
Did
lunch.
We talk about the sushi,
Sushi bar I have at the Kiddush.
Yeah,
we have a
yeah.
sushi bar every day. It's either in Kiddush or in lunch. Oh, lunch always has a sushi bar.
That's so cool.
Every lunch has a sushi bar, the Cholamoid lunches. And Matthew
It's
Chan
quinoa
from
sushi.
Chop Chop is my
Quinoa
sushi
sushi,
guy
yes,
for
yes.
11 years. And he comes with his whole entourage.
That's
and he makes
awesome.
all the sushi fresh, crispy quinoa, all that kind of stuff. And then after lunch, it's a 3-course plated lunch. There'll also be a choice. And then the barbecue opens again, even on Yom Tov.
Wow.
It's
Or
crazy.
if it's not a barbecue day, there'll be like an elaborate shalashudas, conceivably. But the barbecue won't open right after lunch. There may be a gap at this point, maybe like an hour.
Wow.
But then we'll open, or half an hour. And then you'll go through till dinner. And then after dinner, there could be a Viennese. Or there could be, if it's a Matzi Yom Tov, there'll be a dairy meal. Where the last meal will be Parav, and there'll be a fish barbecue. We're known for our fish barbecue.
Oh, wow.
So even if I'm going
What
to
kind
a
of
dairy,
fish are you serving?
we get the ice, and I have whole 5 different kinds of fish, and they're literally
Wow.
making it like a Greek
That's fun.
style or a Mediterranean style fish grill. Chani Applebaum was there last year, and
Okay.
she'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
Like literally, you go and there's like big ice trays with like whole snappers and bronzinos, and they're just being grilled on the
That's
grill.
unbelievable.
So we grill that because the power of meals are not so popular because everybody wants meat. Not everyone, but a lot of people want meat. Once in a while, we'll do a dairy kiddush. Once first days, once last days, sometimes first days if I feel there's necessity. But we'll still give you a meat lunch after. So
basically, people come and they're just
eat.
eating.
And then Matzi Yom Tif, the program ends. And last year we baked off croissants.
What, Matzi Yom Tif?
No, the morning after for breakfast.
Wow.
I proofed them the night before. I didn't bake the dough. We buy them from probably Crusters. But you're still getting hot croissants, chocolate croissants in the morning after. That was really nice for me to do because I'd never done it before. And I always feel that you don't give people fresh things after Yom Tif. So we try to come up with stuff that we can give that's easy. And proofing that stuff off, everybody loves it. You know, croissants and all different kinds of flaky butter pastries in the morning, and then people go home.
That's very, very
And then
cool.
wines, we
okay,
let
you left
you choose.
us. Oh, you have a full bar.
No, not just a
How
full
does it
bar.
work with matzah and wine for the Seder? You provide. People don't bring.
Yeah, we bring
Some
shmor.
people bring because they want their specific ones, but
We have plenty. And if you don't want wine, we make a display. There's no wine room. In other words, if you want wine, we'll put out on like Seder
Are you
night.
making like traditional food? By
I'll
the
put
way?
that.
Like,
I'll put out 1,000 bottles on Seder night.
Wow.
I'll put out a display that's gargantuan, and people can take as much as they want.
Wow.
And then they
And
take.
you've never run out of wine.
No, I buy a lot of extra because I buy it on consignment.
Yeah. That's,
So whatever I don't use, it's.
I guess wine is concerned. You're not buying your meat and other items.
I wish I was, but no. But the wine, the wine I buy on consignment because wine is something you can buy on consignment. We always make sure we have extra. So if somebody says they want something, we buy better wines. Like you can have a Shiloh every day of the week. You can have
That's
a
so
Baron
cool.
Herzog Reserve, Alexander Valley,
Are you
or Napa
making
Valley.
like traditional food, like matzah kugel?
We give better.
Gefilte
We
fish.
can't give matzah kugel. It's not
The
Gebrauchs
last
program.
day. Oh.
We make matzah brai the last day for breakfast.
Got it.
That's about
That's
it.
it. And
I
like,
don't bother with matzah kugels. Nobody wants them.
Nobody wants them.
No, but the rest of Pesach, he's making kishka, he's making gefilte fish. And
I mean, there's
matzah
very
fish.
little Gebrauchs products on the market now anyways. I mean,
Right.
even the non-Gebrauchs programs
Is that
are
what you asked, like,
mostly,
the Hamish
even the Gebrauchs
Yeah, yeah.
programs are not that Gebrauchs.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
But we buy a
Do you
lot.
make yapchik?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's my favorite
So
thing
it's
we
a
make?
nice combination of like Hamish food, but also.
No, it's a really good
Yeah.
thing we make, which is not an expensive cut, but we'll serve it because it just looks huge and it's delicious, is a bone-in chuck-eye, which is a steamship roast. And we'll do that by a carving station.
That's good.
That's really good. I
That's
like
very
lamb
good.
by
What
a
kind of
carving
roast?
station.
It's a bone-in chuck-eye.
And we
What
don't
do they call
repeat
it?
meats.
You said steamship?
I don't know. A friend, they used to call it that by the Chevre years ago.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, I've never
Steamship.
heard of that.
It's,
I have some
it's
interesting
huge.
notes from this podcast.
A steamship roast. We do that, but I don't know why it's so special. It's just I like anything big. Like I like
It
things
does
that
look
look
impressive.
big. I like
Steamship roast.
lamb whole. I just want everything to look like very large. Like I want the food to be big.
Okay, so I gathered so much info for the magazine, but
And we
you
like
have
the
left
portions
us,
to be too big.
You have left us starving and
No,
wishing
you're
we
not
could
starving. It's
No,
late.
I'm hungry.
No, like just thinking about this program, starving and exhausted at the same time.
Well, we're very passionate about what we do. I mean,
No, I
everybody
know,
who
I
works
know.
on the program
We definitely
really
be following up on a
wants
blind
it
taste
to
test
be-
for Bruce.
we
We
must.
definitely
We
will
are
be
I
challenging
want to
you.
know because I
Yeah,
don't
we're
buy
gonna
it.
challenge you.
I don't buy. I'll tell you what I think. I think you can buy. My wife sometimes buys the Trader Joe's meat,
Okay.
the ribeyes, I think,
Okay.
and I cook them, and they're very good.
Mhm.
And they're from Argentina. They're
Right.
very good.
But
But
you can
they're
tell the
not
difference. You're saying you can tell the difference.
I think
But
with grilled
on a ribeye,
meat,
yes,
you
I'm
could
not
tell the
surprised.
difference.
on a short
But
rib.
on a-
For sure, you can tell the difference.
On a short rib, you're saying?
sure.
Okay, so
The
that's going to
only
be the challenge.
I'll tell you couldn't. The hamburgers is a stretch.
Okay.
Although I still don't buy it. I
Okay.
still think you could see the difference. What does it mean tell the difference?
If
I
you
could-
come to our studio,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna cook you the short rib from
Yeah, but
America.
if you
I'm gonna
cook it
find out that it
poorly-
was the good from the good
Cook
good
all three the
yachas.
same way. Same
I'm gonna
marinade.
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you could make the one of them come out a little better.
No,
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 you
no.
don't.
No.
No, we literally will do the same recipe by measurement. I will do a half cup ketchup, a half cup this, whatever the recipe is. Cook it the exact same way. Sear it for the exact same amount of time. Put it in the oven in the exact same pan. Cook it all
Don't
at the
cook
same
it in
time.
anything. Don't put anything. That just salt.
I'm just telling you. Let's say I'm doing
Because then
gross.
it's not. Once you're gonna mask it with the
Yeah, but
with
you
the
still
sauces,
can't tell the difference.
I probably could, but I mean, if
You're
you
saying
don't,
the true test is just
the
salt.
true
But
test
that's
is
not
just
the way you're eating meat.
when you cook a steak.
A
Not a
steak. We're
steak.
not talking about a steak.
I'm talking about a braised dish, like a short rib.
A French roast.
A short rib.
A short rib. Okay.
A French roast.
How are you cooking a short rib? You're like doing sauteed onions, carrots, celery, wine, some herbs.
You
stick them in the
braise, you
oven.
keep half uncovered,
like-
covered. You know what I'm
like
talking
that.
about.
Yeah, so you do that drill.
There's
We're gonna
no
do
way
it.
you don't know the difference.
Okay.
Okay, there you
We're
go.
gonna do
There's
it.
no way.
We're gonna do a classic short rib.
Mendy was here, and he's adamant to me about this. And he,
Well, we got Mendy.
you got Mendy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was confused.
But where'd you buy the meat?
We bought some in Coal Safe and some in Gourmet
But it's
Glatt.
not all the same, American.
No, we know, but we checked. We
You're
asked.
right.
For
No, but I
certain-
will ask your questions. I'll make sure it's the good American meat.
Yes.
No, because
You
there's
are right.
different
No, but-
levels.
So that's something that could be missed.
I've bought bad steaks that are American steaks, and I've got good steaks from
So
Argentina
wait,
that
where's
were
the
very.
best American steaks from?
Am I allowed to endorse things?
Yeah, go for it.
The best
is a
American
free
meat. The
speech.
best American meat in New York.
Yeah.
Parky's Kosher on the Upper East Side.
Interesting.
Where are they getting
meat
it
is
from?
it?
That's what I'm saying.
It's American and it's butchered beautifully.
But where's it
Uh-huh.
from?
It's a fortune. I mean, it's expensive,
where's
but
it
if
coming
you
from?
want
Like where are they? Is it
alley
like?
or one of those places. I mean,
So why is it different to getting alley somewhere else?
there's different levels. Alley grades things differently. There's
Got it.
choice. There's prime. I mean, there's different levels of prime. Alley knows what's
There's
really
even
good.
different levels
Sure.
of prime. So you really have to know your butcher.
They know
also.
that if the butcher's getting their hands on, there's the what's the Syrian butcher in Avenue U? Everybody swears by Prime.
Reserve
Prime
cut?
butcher.
Prime butcher.
Prime butcher.
He's
guy
getting
knows Reserve
premium
cut?
stuff. Parky's Kosher's getting Pomegranate's getting premium stuff. Gourmet Glatt has some stuff, but his price points he's not charged. But the Parky stuff, if you ever see how it's butchered and what it looks like, but it's very expensive.
Right.
I mean, it's for a Manhattan Upper East Side client whose discretionary income isn't the discretionary income of a family in the Five Towns per se, even or elsewhere.
Right.
And then you have this expensive meat store here,
Choose, yeah.
He's very expensive also.
Yeah.
I never bought anything there. I mean, I can't, steak's a luxury. I mean, to go spend $35 on a steak is a lot of money. So when am I eat? It's like once in a blue moon. I'm not going to eat that every day.
Right. And or you'll eat it for lunch on your Pesach program.
Well, we only
I
buy
know,
really
I
good
know.
meat.
Thank you
But
so much for
people are
joining
paying
us.
for it.
Give a shout out to your program. What is it? We didn't even
Pesach
like.
and this, I didn't give a shout
Yeah,
out.
we barely promoted it.
By the way,
Pesach in the Southeast.
I wasn't looking to promote it.
And we didn't have you
I
on
didn't
to
want to
promote.
promote
No,
it.
we're literally having just a
Pesach
conversation.
in the Southeast.
Okay.
And I want.
Wait, we're not promoting it then.
I'll just tell you the name. Pesach in the Southeast. If you want to learn more information, you can call PesachInTheSoutheast.com. You can email info@PesachInTheSoutheast. Someone will respond to you and give you more information. I'm very accessible. We're very honest. What you see is what you get. And
Thank
we
you
want
for
our
joining
guests
us.
to
It
be
was really
happy.
fun.
And
Amazing.
I just want
Yeah.
to say that as somebody who's watched Fleischig's magazines from its inception, it's nice to see you graduating to this next level of growth.
Thank you.
I remember the first issues when it first came out. I've always been a big fan.
Thank you so much.
I enjoy it. I love the France issue.
I'm really happy
a
to
lot
hear
of
that.
fun.
We worked.
We love
hours on
traveling
it.
for the
Yeah.
France issue, and
That was
we
fun.
enjoy.
No,
seeing
the
that.
France issue was. Now I'm giving you a plug. The France issue was just really, really well done.
Thank you.
Interesting.
You know what was missing in there?
what?
Rabenga, not Rabenga.
Rachenko.
He's not in business anymore.
No, I know.
No, I
It's
know,
another
but we
restaurant that shut down.
we both
I
used
like
to
that
really
place.
like
Yeah,
it.
that place.
No,
was good.
there's a new place now. Next you go, there's a bakery, Levely, where she's
We
making
missed
like
it.
crumble cookies and
Oh, very
fancy
cool.
donuts.
We
But
missed
she's,
that.
I don't know this place, but someone told me this
Interesting.
should be on your list
Okay,
next.
well-
It just
Well, we
opened.
did take your recommendation. We went to gym.
Yes, Maison Gems.
Did you not find the chocolates to be a little?
It was the issue was
Very
that when
good.
we were
Was it
there,
already
it was
Pesach?
Pesach. So they only had like 2 flavors.
Oh,
and
really?
we didn't have the whole array of chocolates.
So
It was our
Danielle
Pesach.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I thought that the gem chocolates were, when I tasted them, I thought they were better.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought they were better and or they were more interesting. They were better.
Yeah.
I don't
We
think
didn't get the full experience.
The
because of the
Danielle
timing.
is becoming so big.
That's
it's very
what happens,
commercial
yeah.
now. And the gem is one shop, one guy. You went to Sam's Bakery or no?
Sam's Bakery.
Or you just went to Reserve?
We went to Reserve and we went to
XXV.
whatever, that place.
Which was better?
Different things, you know? We love the Reserve's flan. We couldn't get over
So
it.
Sam's has to make the list because he makes a lot of stuff really well too.
Okay, round 2.
Round 2, we have to go back to Paris and a lot of other places that we spoke about offline.
Where are you going
also.
next?
We don't know yet. What do you recommend?
You did Rome.
We did Rome.
We
was
have a
good
few
one.
options.
You did Buenos Aires and Mexico City.
No, we never did. We covered Mexico
Panama's
City.
worth an issue
Panama
today.
we're working on now. We're not going, but we have someone who's
London's
from Panama.
not bad either.
Yeah.
London would be very cool. It's on our list.
But
as a European city.
London doesn't have the variety, but the
Yeah,
restaurant.
the kosher. might
But
not
they
be as
have quite a
expensive.
bit. But Panama, Mexico City, and Buenos Aires are very strong.
Okay.
Even South. You could do, if I were me,
Yeah.
I would do a whole South America issue. I would merge all the countries together,
Ooh, okay.
and I would go between Panama, Brazil. I would do all of them.
Argentina.
That
Argentina,
would be very
Mexico, and I would go all the way down, and I would include them all because I think that's interesting.
That is
Each
very
of them could be its
fascinating.
own, but I think that everybody bunches them together, but they're different.
Yeah.
That would be on my
so
list.
interesting. Okay, we're gonna put it on the list. Okay. Well,
South
Thank you.
Africa.
Thank you for joining
You're
us.
welcome.
Really
Thanks
enjoyed.
a lot for having me.
yes.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll have to do a round 2 since we have so much to talk about.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I hope the program
Thank
goes
you.
well. I want to just add, I want to wish
Yes.
success to anybody else who's crazy enough to go into this business. They should all be successful, Pesach. I wish
Amen.
everybody the best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This episode is brought to you by Mahadran's Parav Sour Cream. I love cheesecake. I love a cheesecake with a sour cream
Anybody
topping.
who knows you knows
So
you
if we're
love
doing a
cheesecake.
Parav cheesecake and you need that topping, this
Yeah.
is great. What else would you use this for?
It's so good in like when you do a power of Caesar dressing, and instead of doing, let's say the recipe calls for a cup of mayo, you do a half cup mayo, half cup of the power of sour cream. It adds this incredible richness to the dressing. It's great, like if you want to make a ranch dressing, use this power of sour cream. It's also great as an alternative to, let's say, a cake recipe that calls for yogurt or calls for sour cream. You know you can rely on it. So it's just a wonderful thing to have, especially as a kosher cook looking for reliable power of alternatives to dairy products.
Amazing. Pick up a package of Mahadran Parav Sour Cream in your local kosher supermarkets and enjoy.
This episode has been brought to you by Original Eden Soy Organic Soy Milk. If there's one product that's been a consistent staple in our pantry since probably the day we got married, it's this soy milk. I have been making so many different recipes, from chocolate ganache, warm chocolate sauce for Friday night,
Kale Kugel.
kale kugel. I have been using this product. It is such a high quality, it's reliable, it's ingredients that you could trust. I
It's
know
organic.
today it's organic. I know today that people are very into reading their labels, and you definitely can rely and you definitely want to read this label. It's a good one.
I see something interesting in the ingredients that it has kombu seaweed in it.
Yeah, it just gives that like natural, well, I don't want to say MSG, but like
Instead
it
of salt,
has
'cause it
that,
is low
yeah,
sodium.
exactly. So it gives
Wow.
you that like nice flavor profile, and it's just a great all around, great power of alternative to any recipe that calls for milk. You could also use it in even a cake that calls for buttermilk. You do the Eden soy with like a tablespoon of vinegar or lemon, and you're good to go.
Very cool. This is the kind of product, this is a product that you find in kosher supermarkets, yes?
Yeah, you could find it in kosher supermarkets. You could also check their website. And I'm sure, like everything else today, you can find it on Amazon.
Great. Eden Foods, Eden Soy. Pick up a bottle or two. That was a great episode.
So
I'm so happy we got him to come.
interesting.
Just by the way, for those that
Okay.
you don't see because we are indoors, this was recorded at almost midnight.
It's when we could do it, you know? And we also go according to the guest schedules and our
It's
schedules.
our schedule and the guest schedule.
Yeah.
It was totally worth it. We went
Totally.
way beyond the amount
We
of time
put the kids to
short.
bed, got our neighbor to come babysit, and then we just got lost in the conversation. It was so good.
Yeah, we could have done 2 episodes. We could have gone even longer.
It's a fascinating industry, and we'd love to hear from you. If you have any follow-up questions, so you listen to this episode and you're like, okay, I want to know more. I have this question, this suggestion. Please email us, reach us. Where could people reach us if they have a suggestion or feedback or something to
They
say?
can email us at info@fleishix.com or hello@fleishix.com.
Okay, just say hello@fleishix.com. We'd actually really love to hear from you. If you have any actually also topic suggestions and things that you want, people you want us to interview. Anyway, this was amazing.
Great episode. Watch it on
yeah.
Kosherdotcom, kosher.com/Glatt. Sign up to the magazine, fleishix.com.
Yeah, you don't want to
Subscribe, give
miss
a
the
gift.
next
Hanukkah's
issues, yeah.
coming, or Hanukkah just passed, depending on when you're watching this. It makes for a great gift because people every month when they get it, they remember that you gave a gift.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Gift that keeps on
Yeah,
giving.
you could write a personal message. Like, it's really cute.
Yeah. And check out Kosherdotcom for more videos and recipes. And till next time, this was awesome.
Yes.
It's kosher, it's Glatt. You're listening to Glatt. Glatt, it's all Glatt.